to the dismissed, the underestimated, the ones who learned in silence. Someone noticed, not the crowd, something else. You felt it watching when no one else did, studying you in your lowest form, waiting, just waiting to see if you'd break or rebuild. You didn't know it then, but every scar became a signature. Every rejection became data. Every failure, an instruction manual written in your own blood. You weren't born ready. You were taught to survive. Through humiliation, through hunger, through every damn room where you didn't belong. That's where it began. The quiet lessons no mentor could ever teach. The rhythm of restraint. The language of patience. The kind of intelligence that doesn't need applause, only accuracy. So let me ask you something. Who taught you to move like that? Tell me below. Type the one word that made you dangerous. Because that word, that single trigger, it's your blueprint. It's your teacher. It's the reason they can't understand you anymore. You outgrew their comfort zone. And now they call it mystery. Stay there. Don't explain. Don't correct. Let their confusion serve you. Because silence isn't emptiness. It's strategy. It's the sound of evolution happening where no one's allowed to interfere. The quiet. It's not weakness. It's warning. And you, my friend, are what happens when discipline wears chaos like a crown. They think it was someone, a shadowed figure whispering secrets in your ear. A mentor who molded you into this. How flattering that they still believe a person could have built what pain designed. They can't grasp it, the truth that no voice trained you, no hand guided you. It was the grind, the repetition, the countless nights you were ignored and still showed up. That was the teacher. That was the architect. They want a name, a face, a story to explain your evolution. Because if they can name it, they can minimize it. That's what people do when they can't comprehend transformation. They make it human. They make it small. But yours was mechanical precision mixed with emotional warfare. You built systems while they built excuses. You learned the rhythm of obsession, that quiet hum that only warriors hear before dawn. You didn't need motivation. You became it. The sleepless hours, the invisible work, the silence they mistook for weakness, all of it was instruction. No human stood over you. No coach pulled your strings. You listened to the pulse inside your chest that said more. You learned from the friction that tried to break you, every loss. A lesson, every insult, a formula. Every betrayal, a blueprint. So now when they whisper, someone's training him, smile. Let them believe it. Let them chase the ghost of a mentor that doesn't exist. Because the truth is colder, sharper, uncomfortable. It wasn't a person, it was a pattern. And that pattern, that brutal, disciplined loop, is what makes you look unstoppable now. Every force that stands unshaken has a structure. Nothing supernatural. No miracles. Just the brutal science of repetition done with obsession. Advantage isn't luck. It's anatomy built from scars, wired with precision and fed by consistency so relentless it looks inhuman. You built this edge one habit at a time. One refusal at a time, one uncelebrated night that no one ever saw. That's where your dominance was born, in the dark corners where discipline slept beside exhaustion. Timing, silence, patience. These became your weapon. You learned when to speak and when to disappear, when to wait until they got comfortable, then move. Every mistake you made before taught you the rhythm of advantage. The calm before the strike, the stillness before the collapse. That's what they can't copy. They can mimic your words, but not your rhythm. They can steal your style, but not your stillness. Advantage lives in the invisible. In those small decisions you make when no one's watching. The pause before you react. The restraint before you explode. That's the difference between noise and strategy. Between talent and timing. Between them and you. You turned chaos into choreography, emotion into math, doubt into data. And when you walk into a room now, you don't announce power, you radiate it. So study your own design, the angle, the layers, the patterns that kept you alive when everything else fell apart. Because that's your armor, that's your weapon. And once you understand your anatomy of advantage, no one can ever touch you again. Every morning begins the same way. Not because you love the routine, but because you respect the war. Rituals aren't pretty. They're not peaceful. They're the small, repetitive acts that keep your chaos tamed and your edge sharp. People call them habits. But for you, they're combat drill. They're the checkpoints that remind you control doesn't come from comfort. It comes from consistency. You don't pray for focus. You build it through the grind, through the unskippable, through those small cold moments when your mind begs for a break. And you answer with action. That's ritual. That's how order is born inside madness. The coffee cup at the same angle, the playlist that sounds like thunder, the pen scratches, the breath control, the repetition of movement that rewires the brain into discipline. They'll never understand why you're so specific, why everything you touch has sequence. They think it's obsession, but it's architecture. You're constructing the machine you operate within. Every repetition, every quiet correction. It's you telling your mind, obey, not out of fear, out of purpose. Because the difference between those who dream and those who dominate is ritual. You do the boring thing ruthlessly. That's your rebellion. That's your edge. While they chase motivation, you manufacture momentum. While they wait for the spark, you light the match. And the moment you stop needing a reason to show up, that's when you become untouchable. This isn't a battle you fight with noise. It's a silent campaign. Every move calculated, every pause weaponized. You learned long ago that the loudest ones bleed first. So you stopped announcing your plans and started executing in shadows. Strategy became your language. Silence became your armor. And now they don't know how to read you. That's the beauty of it. Confusion is your camouflage. You win long before the fight ever began. You study the battlefield. Not theirs, yours. You know the terrain of your own weaknesses better than they do. You know when to disappear, when to hit, when to stop. That's mastery, not constant attack, but perfect restraint. They think they're watching nothing happen until the entire game shifts beneath them. That's what silence does. It rearranges reality without permission. You've learned to weaponize unpredictability. You appear calm, unbothered, almost bored, and then chaos. The kind they can't respond to. You don't react emotionally. You react surgically. One precise strike that dismantles months of their confidence. That's not rage. That's design. That's warfare conducted in plain sight. While they're still trying to decode your stillness, let them talk. Let them speculate. Let them call your calmness arrogance. Because the truth is, this war was never between you and them. It's between who you were and who you refuse to be again. You don't fight for attention anymore. You fight for control. And in this quiet war, silence always wins. Anger isn't a curse. It's raw or unrefined, dangerous if left untamed. But you learn to smelt it, to bend it, to forge it into something sharper than any weapon. Every insult, every betrayal, every moment they doubted you became fuel, not for destruction of yourself, but for construction of the version they never saw coming. Rage became your catalyst, not your cage. You felt it boiling, clawing, begging to explode. But instead of letting it control you, you studied it, measured it, transformed it. Each heartbeat became a metronome. Each breath a lever, each step a calculated release. You don't let fire burn blindly. You direct it. You channel it into precision, into movement, into strategy. Every fury a tool, every frustration a blueprint. They will never understand why you seem untouchable, why the chaos they expect to see never arrives, because they mistake silence for weakness. You know better. You've converted emotion into energy, instability into power, and fury into focus. You don't just survive rage, you harvest it, you refine it, you make it obedient, and in that obedience lies your unstoppable force. Every glance that tries to provoke you, every word meant to shake you, every slight intended to push you off balance, it hits the forge instead, and the stronger you become, the sharper it gets. Rage is no longer a reaction, it's a tool of transformation, and when you finally release it, it doesn't scream, it executes, it dominates, it conquers. Every warrior wears two faces, the one they show and the one they sharpen. You learn that early. You let them see what comforts them, the calm tone, the measured smile, the predictable rhythm. But beneath it, the real you is calculating, watching, waiting. You wear the mask not to hide weakness, but to study theirs. Because power, real power, lives in the art of restraint. You appear harmless, polite, approachable. You let them underestimate you because invisibility is strategy. You move like air, quiet, unseen. They think they know you, but every version they describe is outdated. You've outgrown their definitions. You've edited yourself in silence while they kept repeating the same story. That's why your presence unsettles them. It's not arrogance, it's evolution. In the mirror, you face the truth they'll never see, the cold precision of someone who's been rebuilt piece by piece. You've learned to stare into your reflection until it flinches, until the fragments align. That's where the real work happens. Not in the public eye, but in the private stare down between your potential and your fear. And you know who wins every time. So keep the mask polished. Let them think it's your face. Because what hides behind it isn't deception, it's design. The mask is for them. The mirror is for you. And when the day comes that you drop one and shatter the other, they'll finally see what you've been building all along. A calm monster with immaculate control. If they tell your story, they'll always be the author of your defeat. That's the first rule you learned: control the narrative, or it controls you. They twist your history, exaggerate your failures, rewrite your intentions. But you don't just respond. You dismantle. Every word they spin, every rumor they whisper, every expectation they build, you turn it into fuel, into leverage, into proof of your precision. Let them believe they understand you. Let them spread their version. Because every misstep they assign you is a thread you will pull to unravel their certainty. You aren't reacting. You are orchestrating. Every smile, every silence, every subtle action recalibrates their perception. The confusion you sow is deliberate. It's not chaos, it's a map, and you are the cartographer. They want to define you by their failures, their limitations, their small minds. But you're larger than the story they tell. Every lie they craft, every misjudgment, every false assumption becomes a stepping stone. You step on them, rise above them, and leave the narrative trembling in your wake. Control the story, and you control reality. And right now, the only version that matters is the one you write yourself. Power isolates. That's not a threat. That's the higher you climb, the fewer can walk beside you. Most will turn away. Some will envy. A few will pretend loyalty while plotting your pause. But solitude isn't punishment, it's laboratory. It's where your thoughts sharpen, your instincts refine, your strategy takes shape. In the silence, the real work begins. You've learned to embrace the empty seats at the table, to cherish the quiet corridors and midnight hours when no one watches. There in that isolation, your mind becomes untouchable. The world is busy seeking approval, you are busy building mastery. Loneliness doesn't weaken you. It teaches you precision, patience, and control. Every moment alone adds weight to your presence, power to your gaze. They'll whisper that you've lost touch, that isolation has consumed you. Let them. They can't feel the pulse beneath the calm exterior. The solitude has sculpted your resolve, strengthened your resolve, and tuned your senses to a frequency only those who survive the shadows can hear. You walk alone, yes, but you walk stronger than anyone who crowds the stage. The quiet, it's your throne, and you rule it without question. You can't rise while holding onto the anchors of your past. Old debts, toxic ties, comfort zones that whisper lies of safety. Every chain you tolerate is weight on your wings. You've learned the hard truth. Growth demands severance, not violence, not drama, just decisive action. Cut clean, move forward, no hesitation, no apologies. Every connection that drains energy, every expectation that limits potential, every hand that pulls backward, it must go. You've mastered the art of polite detachment. You don't burn bridges for spectacle. You dismantle them for survival. Each severed tie is a pulse of liberation. Every cut clears the path for what's next. People will protest. They'll claim loyalty, friendship, history. Let them. You're not here to justify evolution. You're here to execute it. The moment you release what no longer serves you, momentum becomes unstoppable. You step lighter, move faster, strike harder. Every chain you break, every comfort you abandon, adds weight to your dominance. And in the silence of your departure, the world notices, even if they don't understand. Victory is performance, not for applause, not for recognition, but for impact. Every step you take in the open, every word you choose, every glance you cast, it's calculated. They will watch, they will judge, they will misinterpret. Perfect. Because when you execute with precision, the results speak louder than noise. The silence afterward becomes deafening. You don't need to shout. You don't need to explain. Presence alone is declaration enough. Every action, every motion, choreographed to leave doubt behind. The crowd won't understand the method, only the outcome. That's your leverage. The execution doesn't have to be visible, only undeniable. Your power radiates, controlled, concentrated, unstoppable. They will try to anticipate your next move, predict your path, counter your strategy. Let them. Every hesitation, every miscalculation they make is confirmation of your foresight. You perform not for them, but for yourself, for the version of you that has endured, survived, and mastered chaos. And when the curtain falls, they will remember the silence more than the spectacle, because real dominance never begs for attention. Whispers follow you, footsteps hesitate in your shadow, eyes dart wondering if you're human or something sharper, something untouchable. That's the reward of mastery, the point where they no longer question your skill, but your existence. You have become the story they dare not tell aloud, the legend they quietly respect. Every choice you made, every risk you took, every boundary you shattered, led to this. You are no longer just a person. You are a pattern, a force, an idea that refuses containment. They will speak of you in tones of awe, fear, and envy, never realizing the quiet discipline behind your presence. You don't need recognition. You are the recognition. And now the final challenge. Own it. Embrace the myth. Walk through life knowing every glance, every whisper, every shadowed doubt is your stage. They think they understand the path you took. They don't. The truth is sharper than their comprehension. You forged yourself in silence, in struggle, in relentless repetition. You are unstoppable. You are untouchable. You are the story they will never forget. Type the one word that captures your transformation. Share it. Own it. Because myths are not born from noise. They are carved from precision, persistence, and power. And now you have become theirs to whisper about, and theirs to feel.